Welcome back to this channel. Let's continue with our work on sectional views, as we have looked at a particular type of section, which is full section. Now we want to look at half section, as we can see it here. So in the case of half section, a quarter of the whole object is taken off, as we can see the cutting plane like this, and it goes like this. So a quarter of it is taken off. The arrow is pointing in this direction. So we want to see what we have on this surface and what we have on this surface after this part has been taken off. But this is how we are going to do it for you to be able to understand what we mean by half section. We are going to draw the top view or the plan of the object, as we are looking at the object downward like this. So we see this rectangle, okay? Then we are going to see this as a circle, we see this as a circle, then we see this circle, and we see this circle. So that is what we do first, and then we lay the cutting plane on it for you to be able to see how the cutting plane will be positioned on the plan for us to have what we call half section. Then after that, when we are done with that, we now draw the half section or the sectional view, as we have it as an half section, which is a type of section. And then so looking at what we have here, so the length from here to here is 130 millimeters, and then we have that the length from here to here is 70 millimeters, and then we have the diameter of this circle to be 20 millimeters, while the distance of the center of this circle from this end is 20 millimeters. So then we have this big circle to be 50 millimeters in diameter, and this circle is 30 millimeters in diameter. So let's work on the plan first. Then when we are done with that, then we go and work on the sectional view, which will give us the half section based on how the cutting plane is placed on the component, on the object. So let's start. So what we are to do first here is to draw a horizontal center line. So we draw horizontal center line. So we have the horizontal center line like this. All right, so here we have the horizontal center line, and then we are to draw a vertical center line. So here we have a vertical center line. So we draw a vertical center line here. So here is a vertical center line. So we have it here like this. Okay, so then the next thing that we are to do is that we are to draw the circles that we have here. So we are to draw them. So the diameter of the big circle is 50 millimeters. So we take a measurement of 25 millimeters. Okay, on the ruler, this is 25 millimeters. So put the pin here, put the pin at this point. Okay, then turn it round. So turn it round like this. Okay, so here we have a circle. So here we have a circle. That is the big circle. So we have it like this. Okay, then we also take the 15 millimeters, which is the radius of the small circle. So the diameter is 30, the radius is 15. So put the pin at this point, put the pin here, then turn it round. So turn it round like this. Okay, so we have to take it easy. Okay, so we put it back here and we go around. So so we turn it around like this, and okay, so here we have the circle. So just take it like this. So we have the circle. Okay, so we have the circles. Then the next thing that we are to do is that we are to divide the length of the rectangle by 2. So 130 by 2 will give us 65. So from the center here, so take a measurement of 65 millimeters to the left side. Okay, and then also take 65 millimeters to the right side from the center. So here is 65 millimeters. Then the width of the rectangle is 70. So half of 70 is 35 from the center. Take 35 down, and then take 35 millimeters up, so making 70. Okay, so then At this point, we are to draw a horizontal line. So draw a horizontal line. So like this, okay. Then coming up here, we also draw horizontal line. So from this point, so to both sides, so we have it like this. All right, so then the next thing that we are to do, so the next thing that we are to do is that we are to draw a vertical line. For us to complete the rectangle, so we draw a vertical line here. So at this point, so we draw a vertical line, so like this. So make it a thick line at once. And on this side also, we also draw a vertical line from here to here. Okay, so we have this. Then this line, so we have to make this line, we have to make it a thick line as we see it on the given object. So we make this a thick line from here to this end, and come up here also. We also draw it and make it a thick line. So from here to this end. So here we have this. Okay. So the next thing that we have to do is to put the two small circles. So as we have that, the distance of the center of that circle from this end is 20. So take a measurement of 20 millimeters. So do the same thing, take 20 millimeters inward here. So 20 millimeters. Then we have to draw a vertical center line here. So we have to draw a vertical center line. So we have to draw it here. So draw a vertical center line. So here we have it here. And then also on this side, so draw a vertical center line, a vertical center line. So we have it here like this, okay. So then the diameter of the circle is 20 millimeters. That means the radius is 10 millimeters. Take a measurement of 10 millimeters. So with the compass like this, and then gently, so we have to turn it round. So we turn it round to have a circle. Okay. So the radius is small. Alright, so here we have this circle on this side. Then we put it at this point here. So we also turn it round. Okay. Alright, so here we have the circles. Okay. So here we have the plan. So let's now place the cutting plane for us to see how the cutting plane will be. So if it is the plan that you are given and you are asked that what type of section with this give, okay, so you must be able to know the type of section based on how the cutting plane is placed on the plan. So and that is what I want to show you now. So the cutting plane as we see it here, let me bring the cutting plane as we see it here, so it goes like this on this surface from here to here. Okay, so we draw the cutting plane. So the cutting plane is drawn with a thick long chain line. So we make this a thick line. Okay, so then we put a dash. Okay, then we also make this from here to here. So we put a dash here. Okay, then we also it goes to the center. It goes to the center as we see it here. Then it comes down from the center to here. Okay, so we have this. Then we put a dash here like this, and then we draw this. Okay, so this is the cutting plane. So this is how the cutting plane will be. So the only thing that we have to add is the arrow head. Okay, so we draw this and then we put an arrow head here like this. So here we have this, and then so this is X. Okay, so we have it here as we see it here. So this is how the cutting plane will be. So we are taking this part, we are taking it off, then it will remain at the quarter of the whole object. Okay, so that is what we have here. So what we are to do now is to draw the sectional front elevation after we have taken this part off. So we are now looking at the object in this direction. So we are going to see this rectangle from here to here. So we also have this as a rectangle. We have it as a rectangle. So and this hole will be exposed. So a line at this point, we see a line at this point, we see a line at this point, and then by the time this is cut off, we see a line at this point, and we also see a line at this point. And this hole that we have here, it goes down to the bottom of the object. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. So just look at how we are going to produce the sectional front elevation, so which will give us the half section that we are working on. So we need to extend this center line, so we have this. Okay, so then we come up a little, and then we draw a horizontal line from here to here, and then we take a measurement. As we have that, the thickness of the rectangle, or the thickness of or the width of the rectangle, is 12 millimeters. From here to here is 12 millimeters. So we have to take a measurement of 12 millimeters up from this point. So this is 12 millimeters. So at this point, we have to draw a horizontal line. So we draw a horizontal line like this. Okay, so we have this now. So what we are to do now is that we are to transfer, so we have to transfer this point here. So we have to transfer it, so up here. So I'm not going to draw it from the plan. I'll just come up here. So I just come up here and draw a vertical line up like this. And then this also, so we are to draw, but it's not compulsory we draw this one. So we are not showing any hidden part. So then for this type of section, so but for this one, so we are going to draw it up. And then this also, so we are to draw a vertical line up from here. So here we have this. Okay, so we have this now. So what we are to do now is that we are going to, for this part that we have here, so this line, so we are to extend this line here. So I'll just draw a line here. So within that short space, and I'll also draw a vertical line here. So within that short space as we have here. All right, so then this circle, so by the time we cut it like this, okay, and we take it away, so this hole will be exposed. Okay, the line at this point and also at this point, we are going to see them as a solid vertical line. So that means we have to first of all extend this center line. We extend this center line, so we take it up like this. So we have this, and we do the same thing for this. So though this particular one will not be shown because the cutting plane does not pass through it, so we are not going to show it. We just leave it. We are not showing it hidden. And then so for this hole that we have here now, so we are going to see a line at this point. So that means we have to make this line, make it a solid line at once like this. And then also, so also make this a solid line like this from here to here. So we have this now. Then so coming up here, so the height of this cylindrical part from here to here is 30 millimeters. So from this point, you take a measurement of 30 millimeters. Of this is 30 millimeters. So we have to draw a horizontal line. So from here, so to here, so we have this horizontal line from here to here like this. All right, so we have this now. So then next thing that we are going to do is that we have to make this line, make it a thick line from here to here like this. Okay, so this line now, so this particular line that we have here, so it will also be a thick line and to stop on this line. Why this one? As I said, that this hole goes down to the bottom of the object. So draw it from here to here. So we have this. Okay, so then another that we have to do here, so this line will be a thick line from here to this end like this. Okay, so we have it from here to here. So why for this particular one, so look at it. So why for this particular line from here to here, it will stop here. So the reason is that by the time we take off this part, we see this line from here to the middle here. So that's what we are going to have there. So what we just have to do here, so this line now, so we draw it from here, okay, to this end. So this is what we have. So this is how it will be. So why this will be left what? It will be left like that. So what we have just done here, okay, what we have just done here, also, sorry, so also this line, so this line from this end, it will stop here. It will stop here at this point. From this end, it will stop here. So that is what we have there. All right, so we are not yet done. So, so we have cut the object, we have taken this part off. So we are going to see on this surface now, we are going to see it looking rough. This will also look rough, and this will also look rough. Okay, so why for this part, the cutting plane does not touch this surface and doesn't touch any of this part and this also. So we are going to leave those ones unhatched. where we are going to hash this surface here for this solid part. We hash this surface and we hash this surface. That's what we are going to do. That surface that I'm talking about is this surface here. So the cutting plane. So this is solid from here to here. So we are to hash this surface. And also, so the surface from here to this point, okay, so we are to hash it. So that means we are hashing this surface and we're also producing hatching line on this small surface here. So with the 45 degrees set square, so let's do the hatching. So so with the 45 degrees set square, so we produce hatching lines on this surface. Okay, so hatching lines are drawn with the use of 45 degrees set square, and they are to be equally spaced. They are to be equally spaced, and that is what we are doing right now to complete this as an half section, so which is a type of sectional view or type of section. Okay, and okay, and all right. So here we have, this is how it will look. So this is half section. So this is half section. All right, so here we have this as an half section. So as simple as I've done it here, all you have to do is to practice. Let's meet on the next one, which will be offset section. God bless you.